So Paul Jackson gets a gig with Herbie Hancock, and I'm elated for him. I'm like, wow, that's fantastic. And he says, yeah, but we're going to play funk. And I'm like, who cares? It's Herbie Hancock. Geez. So, I mean, like, play whatever he wants to. So Harvey Mason did the first record. And then he had such a lucrative studio career that he didn't want to go on the road for $300 a week or something like that. So Herbie called me on Paul's recommendation. And I'd been talking to Hancock on the phone quite a bit anyway, because he was calling to talk to Paul over to the house, and Paul was never home. So I'd end up talking to Herbie for hours. And
Wow.
he's a hell of a conversationalist. He'll talk about anything, Muhammad Ali, boxing, cars, whatever, and jazz, the whole nine, Tony Williams, Elvin, whatever you feel like. A great guy. And so he said, well, I hear you play your own style of funk. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Why don't you play with me and see what you think? So he did, and he hired me. You know what I mean? And that's the story, you know. And so I went on the road with him, and I stayed in that band for, I think, 4 years. But then my my desire to play jazz was overriding my desire to be in that band, and they were getting more commercial and more straight and more straight. And pretty soon I was just playing a 2 and 4 backbeat with no singer. You know, I'm backing up. I felt like I didn't like it at this point. I loved it when I first
Yeah.
got in the band. We were playing Actual Proof and all this like challenging music. And then it became like a top 40 gig kind of. So I had to get out of there, you know.
Well, talk a little bit about more about Herbie because such a unique guy. I mean, came up doing his stuff in the '60s. Some of those recordings and the whole Watermelon Man thing. Play with Miles, and then start going in this electric fusion direction. Especially with all those keyboards back then, those are huge instruments. You gotta have all those things. He must have been carrying all of that with him. But yeah,
Yeah, well,
eventually went into more of that more pop type of sound, which probably is not so jazz interesting, you know.
well, an amazing guy. First of all, he's a champion of humanity. He really is. He's the most amazing. He's a genius, and he's accessible. He's funny as hell. He's fun, you know. And the hang is great. He's smart, and and he's a great guy. He's a great guy. So it was fun being with him. I liked being with him more than I did playing the music he was playing, because I wanted to play jazz too. But I think what happened to him, in my estimation, would be that he ran out of money with M1 He couldn't afford to keep the band on the road. And he already had a lot of that equipment from his experience with that band, because he was using the ring modulator and the this and the Rhodes and so I think, and he from Fat Albert also, he was kind of leaning towards, he liked funky music, he liked Sly, he loved James Brown, so he was. I think uh, it was timely for him because I think he wanted to make this move. And I mean, this guy had played all those great records he made on as a leader and a sideman, and then the Miles stuff. Having that behind him at 30 years old, he wanted to do something different. He didn't want to go back and repeat the Blue Note stuff like everybody wanted. You know, he'd done it all, and he's the kind of guy that he keeps moving, maybe not in the direction people would like to see him go, but he keeps moving, you know. And I think uh, it served him well, man. He had a bunch of hit records, and he changed his life.
Yeah,
You know, he
well,
was in debt when we met him.
now when I mean, I bet you didn't think about it at the time, but now a lot of those videos on YouTube, actual proof, all that stuff, probably didn't, you probably might not even known they were filming, but now that's like those videos have millions of views online, and that is complicated music. I've played some of that stuff on electric.
Yeah,
Paul was doing, you know, so, and you on drums, like are that that even though, like, yes, you are equally established jazz player, I think the funk thing kind of got you a whole different audience with like people in like these drum shops and drum camps and such, you know. But
it sure did. Didn't see that one coming, you know, but
yeah,
it did. But I liked what we did on Thrust. I liked what the band was doing the first couple of years because we were experimenting and trying to find something different and new. We were challenging ourselves and each other. But then I could see that it was starting to become a commercial type of organization, and I was starting to become unhappy. You know, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
was young. I wanted to play. I mean, I don't care. Even if you're playing with a guy who's famous, you want to do your thing. You want people to know who you are musically, you know. But yes, it was a completely rewarding experience on a million levels, not just musically, all the way around. It was like
yeah.
unbelievable, fantastic, you know.